The balance. Here now, Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff under President George W. Bush and a Fox News contributor. Karl, good to see you tonight. Thanks for being here. First of all, your thoughts. What's better for your Republican Party, if Paul Ryan stays or if he goes a little bit earlier?
Well, there are two options. Are you a Shakespeare fan?
Yes, I am.
Macbeth, Act 1, Scene 7.
Okay.
If it were done
Well,
when
we're
tis
done
done,
quickly.
then it would be done quickly. So out now. There are two advantages to that. You have clarity and you get it quicker and faster. And there's less funny stuff. The longer this goes on, the more this group will pop up and say, if we're going to support you, we need to have this. And another group will say, well, if you're going to give them that, we get this. So there's less funny stuff if you do it quicker. On the other hand, if you wait, you're going to do it in the regular order. You're not going to look like in the middle of the campaign you're having to have this big leadership fight that distracts attention from issues. And more importantly, it's a chance to show us what you got. You got the speaker. You got the two people who think they want to be the speaker, the majority leader and the majority whip, and they can go out and show their colleagues what they're doing. So in the first one, you got one guy taking the lead. Here you got three people or four or five who are out there trying to demonstrate whether or not they got the chops to lead the Republican caucus.
Interesting. We're watching Cook and all of these folks moving their numbers around. As you look at this map, which put it up, there's 30 toss-ups on this map that we're going to show everybody at home right now. Democrats would have to pick up 25 seats in order to flip the House in their direction. How's it looking?
Well, look, we got a long way to go, but everybody's going to be looking at this race sort of along the following lines. And I took these numbers out of the New York Times, which is trying to sort of aggregate everybody's picks as to what is up. What are solid Democrat seats or likely Democrats or lean Democrats? And similarly, what are the solid Republicans and likely and lean? And these change every week. In fact, since this chart was put out, they've moved 2 seats out of the solid column into likely and toss-up for the Republicans. But as of this chart, 189 Democrats likely to return. Solid Democrats are likely. And for the Republicans, 198. That means the Democrats need to pick up of these 48 seats here in the middle that are leans and toss-ups. The Democrats need to win 29 of them to take the majority, and the Republicans need to take 20 of them in order to keep the majority. So I think this is a toss-up. It depends upon, is this a year in which there's a Democrat wave? If there's a Democrat wave, then 29 seats is going to be, they're going to be more than 29. But I'm not certain this is going to be a wave like we had in 94 or 2006 or 2010. I think this is going to depend more upon the quality of the candidate and the quality of their campaign, which means of these people right in here.
Yeah. What's your feeling about how organized Republicans are? I mean, they had this, lifetime opportunity that Paul Ryan talked about so much. They got the House, the Senate, and the White House. And now it appears that the language that you hear a lot is that they're done legislating until after the election. Today, they shot down a balanced budget amendment. And they, more often than not, will say, well, this is historically the way that it goes. If they lose the House, there's going to be an onslaught against this president, the likes of which you haven't seen.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not one of these people who thinks the House is done legislating. I think the House, because there's a Republican majority, look, they passed dozens upon dozens of bills that are going nowhere in the Senate because the Senate has different rules, and a lot of the Senate time is being chewed up in confirmation
about things that they could really campaign
and
on,
judges.
Like a balanced budget amendment
look, the balanced budget amendment. Who thought that we were going to get 2/3 vote in the House of Representatives for an amendment to the Constitution as required? Now, this is putting people on record saying, are you for this or against this? So people have something to go home and campaign on. But they've been doing a lot of substantive legislating. You saw this, for example, on the reform of Dodd-Frank. The Senate passed one bill. The House passed a major bill, but it also passed a whole bunch of bills by big bipartisan majorities dealing with individual elements of Dodd-Frank, and now they're trying to get that worked into a bill and approved by the Senate. But the House has got a lot of work that they've done. They're going to keep doing more.
Karl, good to see you as always. Thank you very much. We will see. We'll be watching. Things are heating up. All right, coming up next here tonight on the story, discrimination and double standard complaints piling up against the NFL.
They said it was distasteful, it violated our code of conduct, and I had a dirty face, which made it seductive, and I was inviting players to contact me.
So now another NFL cheerleader has a very different story, but she says that she